Alright, folks. Cameraman, I swear to God, if you don't fix that. There we go. Alright, folks, I'm Spider-Man. Pillow substitute. And today we're talking Spider Chat. And the latest long line of horrible things. Oh God, why did I have to let Aunt May's husband die? And all those clones die. My business is dying. And I'm just a fraud. Well, now, web slingers, let's get on to something a little lighter with stupid pet tricks, spider style. What, Letterman's gone, I can steal his stick with Spider Giraffe. Take it away, buddy. Please get me out of here. I haven't eaten in days, and he's insane. Quiet, you'll never earn your freedom. Ah, God. Today's cast of Spider Chat will now be replaced with Comics Corner by Jacob Mangley. Hello, everybody. I just gotta get my set back in order. There we go. I'm Jacob Mangley, and you are watching Comics Corner. Yeah, we were just trying some other programming here on Harry's Fu Manchu. Now, the channel's up. I'm trying out some other programs. We'll see how it works out. I don't think that one will be coming back. Please renew me. I'm living out of a box. Like I said, he probably won't be coming back. I'll try to prevent him from living in a box, living in a cardboard box. Got that madness out of the way, let's get into some new madness. In honor of Homecoming and to break up the monotony of doing review videos, since I feel I haven't been doing some of my best work with them, or since they've mostly been good comics, I haven't had a lot of comedic material, I decided to do a few more lists, since I felt really good after doing the LBGTQ list, which you can find on my channel. Is definitely worth a watch if you're tuning in for the first time. And with Spider-Man Homecoming out today, and me seeing it tomorrow, so hyped. I thought I'd go down a list of my top 10 Spider-Man villains. Since I wasted enough of your time with Spider Chat, you're a waste of time. You're a waste of time. And you might be a manifestation of bigger problems. Get the F out of here. With that out of the way, wall-crawling menace out of the way, let's count them down. And number 10, Sandman. Sandstorm. Well, Spider-Man Sandman doesn't make a dream or isn't the cutest that anyone's ever seen, but he is this common crook made of sand. He also did not kill Peter Parker's Uncle Ben. That was a random thug, as it should be. God, Spider-Man 3 was a tire fire. Just, Jesus. Well, in the actual comics, while Sandman did start as your typical thug for hire, as honestly most Spider-Man villains are, have been reduced to at one time or another, well, as you do, he's actually one of the more complex villains. He's gone back between being hero, villain. Most of it is unstable as a shape. And because he's basically made of living sand, though weirdly needed to breathe in an early story, he can become anything. Peter has to use extra heat, vacuums, whatever he can find to beat him. Or even just a splash of water might work. And even then, given sand works on a beach, and he has become a beach and taken over islands at separate points, that's not for sure. It takes whatever he can get to beat him, and it always makes for an interesting fight. He's a bit lower because he lacks a little depth, but he has gotten some lately thanks to Fred Van Leet and Dan Slott. Van Leet gave him an adopted daughter, or whose mom who thought he was her dad. He wasn't, but she wrote to a bunch of supervillains in prison hoping to find her dad, and he took to her. Though, sadly, he also went a bit crazy with multiple with some Sand-made clones of himself going insane and killing her family. I might review that story at some point. Needless to say, it's heartbreaking and it gives him a lot more depth, even if he hasn't been used too much lately to take advantage of it. Hence, he's a little lower on the list. But he's still one of the classics, he still always brings a good time, and he's still number 10. Number 9, Electro. Heads up, I'm not going to make any Amazing Spider-Man 2 jokes since I haven't seen it, though I will say Jamie Foxx, good actor, decent choice for Electro. Not for what they were going for with him, from what I've heard. And the CGI look for him is just awful. Like they're trying to do Ultimate Universe, but no. But in the comics, Electro's a classic. His original outfit, goofy as it may be, making him look like a deadly dandelion, as much as electricity, still works. And the reworked version, which just keeps the still pretty neat looking lower half, but gives him kind of a star on his face during the Gauntlet storyline, really worked. As have reworkings by Dan Slott and Mark Waid. Stories I read recently, but are still greats. And while I do admit they helped to influence this list, as Max probably would have been beaten out by Hydro Man otherwise, due to personal preference, the depths he's gained are all fairly great. In Wade's story, he became kind of a working class hero for the people sort of guy. While in Slott's stories, his powers go out of control and he just wants to correct them. Same with the Wade story, but in a different sort. Though that's more on Otto Octavius, but I'll get to him later in the list. Spoilers. But what really gets Electro here is that while he may be a 2-bit thug in most versions, he's still a cool villain. His electric powers, his getting overwhelmed and consumed by power, no matter what the version, he's always a fun time. And always a great villain to have around. And he's one of Spider-Man's most powerful enemies, giving him a massive threat to deal with no matter what the situation. He may not be one of the best overall, but he's certainly one of the greats. And he deserves to be on this best list. Number 8, the Ultimate Prowler. I haven't gotten much into the Ultimate Universe, or Miles Morales, the Spider-Man of the Ultimate Universe, till recently when he got booted over to the regular Marvel Universe, when that universe died. As you do. I will have to go into Miles a bit, but basically Miles Morales was an average kid who no one understood, and who was secretly visiting his criminal uncle, Aaron, who actually is in Spider-Man Homecoming. Again, spoilers, though less of a dickbag at this stage. Aaron was kind of a criminal dickbag, and was a criminal with Miles' father, but did really care for Miles, at least at first. Then Miles got bitten by a genetically altered spider because it was decided that in the Ultimate Universe, maybe radiation spiders didn't give people superpowers, it just gave them super poison. Kinda obvious in hindsight, Stan. That being similar to Peter Parker. After that version of Peter Parker died, yeah, really, and if you're wondering if it was just for shock value, no. Miles got his powers ahead of that, though not in issue terms, and choosing power and responsibility, got into you decide to become the new Spider-Man despite being a mere lad of 13. Unfortunately, Aaron connected the dots pretty easily, and using some equipment he got from the ultimate version of the Tinker, the baddie who supplied his villains with equipment in the Marvel Universe, he decided to extort Miles as the villainous Prowler. The Marvel Universe regular Prowler might be on my list of best supporting characters. A genius who all up until recently kind of spottily helped Peter, is still a nice guy named Obi Brown. Here, though, he's a total prick, but in an appealing way. He knows Miles' identity, something some of the other villains on this list have in common, and that's a problem. He knows who Miles Morales is. He can tell his parents. Unless Miles helps him, of course. Which he does out of desperation and because he's sending him after another bad guy, but after Miles basically plans to become the Kingpin, Aaron basically plans to become the Kingpin, Miles is prepared to tell his parents, leading to a huge brawl that ends tragically. I won't say how, but let's just say that Aaron's not exactly around anymore. Okay, so he dies, but I won't say how, but he's manipulative, he's charismatic in how he deals with Miles, but he's also menacing and well done. And while he's ultimately done in by his own stupidity using equipment he doesn't quite understand, he's still a decent threat, and his personal relationship with the hero is incredibly compelling. Hence why he's a bit higher than Electro and Sandman, but below some of the more iconic and interesting Spider-Man villains. But while he may not be fairly recent and probably won't, unless he comes back from the dead, probably won't be back to menace Miles again, sadly. Aaron Davis still earns his spot at number 8. Number 7, Harry Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. This one requires some backstory. So remember last time when I told you how Harry's dad Norman tossed Spider-Man's girlfriend over a bridge and Peter tried to save her, but I ended up snapping her neck? Well, okay, I didn't tell you that last part. Have fun sleeping tonight! But no. I didn't tell you the rest. Part because I will probably review that at some point. Possibly. I don't know. Okay, I possibly will review it at some point. But also because it was irrelevant to the review. But Harry Osborn, as I said in that review, but for those who didn't see that, is Peter Parker's best friend. And also one of his worst enemies. You see, after Norman threw Peter's poor girlfriend off a bridge, and we'll get to Norman later. He's certainly one of Spider-Man's best foes. I'm not making a secret of it. He'll be on this list. Basically, original Green Goblin, green guy, throws people off buildings, etc. Then had a final showdown where Spidey almost killed him, but realized it would make him no better than Storm and Norman if he did, and backed off. Norman, being kind of a prick, decided, fuck that, I'm gonna impale him while he's showing me mercy. That's a great idea. It's not like he has a super sense that allows him to sense danger. Well, he did, and Peter dodged, but sadly Norman died. And guess who saw it? And on top of this, Harry, who was just kind of a swinging college student, was going through a rough patch. His girlfriend Mary Jane broke up with him. He turned hard to drugs. The first time he went to that, driving Norman insane. And his most recent relapse being the reason Norman got his memories of being the Goblin back and went on his until the 90s final rampage. Harry, not being in a really great mental place mentally, Well, he took it well. And by took it well, he hid his father's goblin costume, so J. Jonah Jameson, who was set up as friends with Norman Osborn, would lead a large manhunt for Spider-Man over the death. With Spidey also taking the fall for Gwen Stacy's death, not helped by him basically going, "Oh, no time to explain. Gotta swing off, Spider-Man." Yeah, you can kind of see why the police would think, there might be something suspicious about that. Harry continued to stew for months, which I've read recently. He fully reject Mary Jane because his father didn't like him. Yeah, his residual anger towards Peter built up, and he's just kind of asked all of Harry's friends, despite them just wanting him to help him recover, and eventually became the new Goblin himself, declaring that the suit was his birthright, and going on a rampage against Peter that ended with Harry committed to a psychiatric hospital for his own good, and Peter's identity safe since no one took his Harry's words at face value or actually thought Harry Osborn was the Green Goblin. He'd get 2 more strikes in, though. He'd eventually, due to marital problems, he got married to Peter's old classmate Liz Allen and had a son, along with a bunch of other stuff, caused Harry to go insane again and have a great story I do want to read at some point. But just sounds terrific. The Goblin's Last Ride or something like that. Where he stalks Mary Jane, fights Peter one last time, and Mary manages to get through to Harry, and he goes back, saves Peter, and dies in the process. A good death, though he did later have Master Disguised Chameleon make robots of Peter Parker's parents just to fuck with him. As you do. Seriously, just... Like, you could have made a robot to just punch him in the dick every day, and it would have taken less effort and been way more hilarious. And that's the end of Harry's villainous career. He did come back, especially since it had been retconned in the 90s that the Goblin formula does regenerate people. And since Harry had taken it, they used that as a way to get him back during the Brand New Day era. And currently he's working at Peter's failing company, Parker Industries, though it wasn't when he started, and he and Peter are back to being pally pals. But for his personal connection to Peter, having a great story I just recounted, and just being a damn awesome personal threat, with Peter conflicted as to whether it hurt his best friend and having to put him back down, Harry's solidly number 7. And to close out this video, there will be a second one in an episode to finish the list, since I rambled a bit. And had that weird Spider-Man swing in. Hello, true believers. I'm doing this last one. So Craven, he's a hunty guy. Okay, weird spider guy. Pello thinks he's Spider-Man gone. Final one for this video. Craven the Hunter. Sergei Kravinoff was the son of Russian aristocrats who fell from grace, and trained himself over the years to become the greatest hunter. He's super strong, has senses of his own, and is one of Spider-Man's biggest threats, despite the fact that, a guy who hunts things, well, how bad can he be? Well, he can hunt Peter by smell, uses animals and high-tech gizmos, or even just simple gizmos with poisons on them. His first appearance, which I've read, had him basically have Spider-Man hard on the ropes, and most appearances are great. He also had the classic, though, again, I haven't read it, but I definitely want to after reading about it as a kid, sort of on Craven's Last Hunt, where he died. He's back now, and sort of reformed after some sort of resurrection curse thingy, but basically, well, he had one last hurrah, feeling that he's getting older and that Spider-Man wasn't, and shot himself. Though an epilogue was amended to take care of the unfortunate implications of that, since the writer team did realize that was kind of just a god-awful way to end things by glorifying suicide a bit. I don't really think they did, but that's not, as he was just basically a deranged man who thought shooting a guy in a spider mask would make him feel better. Suicide never has or never will be the solution to anything. But if you're feeling that, please get help. I've been there. It's not pleasant. And I had to say something. I'm sorry for ending this video on a down note. So to end it on a bit of an up, Craven may be a bit... Craven's first demise may have been a bit, well, Craven, but he's still one of Spidey's greats. Always pushing the wall crawler to his limit. While he may have had a few goofy storylines, he's unique. He has super strength and stuff. Most of his other powers, being a skilled hunter and everything, were built over years. And he also throws animals and is responsible for Spider-Man fighting an ape, cheetahs, and God knows what else. And that will never get old. And that's where we're leaving this video. So, next time we finish off with the last 5. Then, who knows? You'll just have to wait and you'll just have to tune in next time to find out, true believers. If you like this video, if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time.